Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Welcome to the Crypto 101 show, where we dive into the world of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, blockchain, and all the technology with it. Whether you're experienced or a beginner to crypto, our goal is to break down complex concepts and make it easy for you to understand the basics. From Bitcoin to altcoins, we'll cover it all in a way that's easy to digest and provide listeners with the knowledge and understanding they need to make informed decisions and better critical thought. Sit back, relax, and let's simplify your understanding of cryptocurrencies on the Crypto 101 show. Part 3. Can Bitcoin fix political corruption? Citizens United campaign finance, lobbying, and the money pipeline that shapes power. I need to start off by saying this is not financial advice, so if you're looking for that, this show isn't for you. The content of this podcast episode is for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed here are not meant to be taken as financial investment or any other advice. Welcome back to the Bitcoin series. A deeper, more honest look at what this technology really means for society, not just for finance. When we talk about corruption, most people think of backroom deals, offshore accounts, or shady politicians caught red-handed. But the real corruption is legal, it's structured, it's baked right into the political system. Laws like Citizens United turned money into free speech, and ever since, billionaires, corporations, and PACs have had more voice in government than actual voters. It's not just rigged, it's openly rigged, and we've normalized it. So the question in this episode is, can Bitcoin actually disrupt the way money controls politics? Can it fix how campaigns are funded, how influence is bought, and how policies are sold? Because Bitcoin doesn't fund lobbyists, it doesn't print money for favors, it doesn't bend to the party in charge. But that doesn't mean it's immune to influence either. So today we're diving into what Citizens United did to our political landscape and how money and power became inseparable, and whether Bitcoin, as a fixed, transparent, decentralized monetary system, can break the chain between money and manipulation. We're not just asking, can Bitcoin fix the economy? We're asking, can it help fix democracy too? Question 1. Can Bitcoin reduce the influence of big donors? Big donors don't just buy political ads, they buy access and influence. We live in a world shaped by decisions like Citizens United where money isn't just speech, it's a megaphone. And the richer you are, the louder your voice can be. Today, billionaires, lobbyists, super PACs, and corporations can pour virtually unlimited money into shaping elections, writing policy, and silencing ordinary voters. This isn't a glitch in the system, but the actual system we live in. Now, what happens if money itself changes? Bitcoin isn't just new money. It's fixed supply, transparent, and decentralized money that changes the playing field in key ways. You can't create more Bitcoin out of thin air. No printing money for political favors. You can't secretly donate Bitcoin through hidden banks or shadow nonprofits without it being traceable. You can't inflate away everyone else's savings while enriching yourself. This means Bitcoin makes it harder to buy influence because it makes the money itself incorruptible. But this comes with a catch. Bitcoin doesn't stop people from using their wealth to try to influence others. If someone already owns a lot of Bitcoin, they can still donate Bitcoin to candidates, create Bitcoin-funded think tanks, and or pay influencers to spread their message. Wealth doesn't disappear. Power dynamics don't magically vanish. Bitcoin just makes the rules around money harder to rig. You can still try to buy influence, but you can't change the money supply, hide the donations as easily, or quietly bail yourself out when it goes wrong. The dirty money trail becomes visible to everyone. So the better question isn't, does Bitcoin eliminate big donors? It's, does Bitcoin make their power smaller, more visible, and harder to abuse? And right now, the honest answer is yes, it can. But it depends on how we, the people, decide to use the transparency Bitcoin offers. Because the tools are neutral, it's what we build with them that matters. Question 2. Can Bitcoin fix campaign finance? This one hits close to home for anyone who's ever looked at a bailout and thought it feels like the only people running are the ones who can afford to. The problem? Money doesn't just influence elections, it decides them. In the US, running for office isn't about ideas, it's about funding. You need millions to get noticed, hire a team, run ads, travel, and survive long enough to compete. So, what happens? Candidates become dependent on big donors. PACs and super PACs flood elections with dark money. Billionaires bankroll candidates to protect their interests, and lobbyists shape policy before voters even hear about it. The result? Candidates aren't elected, they're funded. And your average person, even with great ideas, gets left off the system completely. Can Bitcoin actually change this? Yes, but only parts of it. Let's break it down. Bitcoin has transparent donations because donations are public on the blockchain. You can see exactly how much was given, trace where the donations come from by following the wallets, even if pseudo anonymous, and they can't hide behind fake shell companies. Bitcoin can do decentralized crowdfunding, meaning people could fund candidates directly using Bitcoin without banks, without corporate platforms, and without getting filtered by political gatekeepers. Potentially, a candidate could raise funds from 1,000 small Bitcoin donors globally instead of 5 billionaires. Bitcoin could be capped with smart contract donations where the right tools, you could build donation platforms that limit how much a single wallet can send or distribute funds only as the candidate hits milestones or auto return unspent donations to the community. That would technically be campaign finance with accountability built in. But there's drawbacks still to this. Bitcoin won't magically stop rich and wealthy people or whales from trying to influence elections. And without clear rules, people could still move funds through multiple wallets or use Bitcoin to buy influence in more subtle ways, like through massive social content or fund media outlets or influencers instead of candidates. So again, the tech gives us tools, but it's the culture we build around those tools that determines whether they actually shift power. Bitcoin can't fix campaign finance alone, but it can give us the tools to make elections more transparent, decentralized, and fair if we choose to use them that way. So the takeaway? Bitcoin makes corruption harder to hide, but not impossible to redirect, which is why guardrails are critical. Question 3. Can wealth still buy influence in a Bitcoin world? So by now we've looked at what Bitcoin could fix: the printing, the backroom deals, the opaque campaign finance system. But here's the harder question. If Bitcoin is just money with new rules, can wealth still find a way to bend the system? Wealth doesn't disappear just because the money is decentralized. There will always be whales, people who got in early, people who bought big, or people who earned or accumulated a massive amount over time. And while Bitcoin doesn't let them change the rules or print more coins for themselves, it doesn't stop them from trying to influence the world with power they already have by using Bitcoin. It's possible it may look more like social influence instead of direct donations. A Bitcoin whale might not donate to a politician, but they could fund a popular influencer, sponsor a podcast, launch a news outlet, or shape public opinion with memes, content, or viral videos, which is still political power. It's just cultural now instead of financial. There's a possibility it could be used for distributed donations. While technically Bitcoin is traceable, with enough wallets, enough mixing, and enough workarounds, someone carrying a lot of Bitcoin could split their holdings across dozens of wallets to stay under the radar, making it look like a grassroots movement when it's actually one person behind the curtain. Another possibility is the backing of DAOs or activist networks. Imagine a powerful whale launching a decentralized organization, not to run for office, but to influence what policies get funded, what causes gain traction, or what people believe about freedom, privacy, or governance. And again, it's not illegal, but it's power, and it's strategic. Being honest, Bitcoin doesn't end influence, it just changes what influence looks like. We move from closed doors to open blockchains, secret donations to visible wallets, institutional power to networked power. It's definitely harder to rig, but not impossible to game. The real question becomes, will the people who gain Bitcoin wealth act any differently than the ones who control fiat wealth today. Because the code is fair, but the culture still matters. That's why decentralization isn't the finish line, it's the starting point. If we want a system where wealth doesn't override democracy, we need to do more than just adopt better money. We have to build better values around it. And that's going to take transparency, accountability, and a community willing to ask hard questions even when the answers make us uncomfortable. So here's where we land. Bitcoin doesn't promise utopia. It doesn't elect your candidate for you. It doesn't silence the wealthy, fix our institutions, or hand you justice in a block every 10 minutes. What it does is gives us a new set of tools that make money transparent, make corruption harder to hide, and make influence visible, traceable, and open to public scrutiny. But tools are only as good as the hands that hold them, because even in a decentralized world, people will still try to buy power and bend systems to their will. And that's why the future of finance isn't just technical, it's cultural, ethical, and personal. So if you come into this episode thinking Bitcoin was just a way to send money faster, maybe now you're asking something deeper. What kind of world do I want this money to build? Because the money might be neutral, but the people never are. And maybe that's the greatest shift Bitcoin offers, is not just changing the currency, but forcing us to ask what we actually value. Thanks for listening to the Bitcoin series part 3. If this episode made you think, pause, or even squirm a little, good. That means we're getting somewhere. I'll see you in part 4, where we take a look at volatility, Bitcoin whales, manipulation, and ask, can we really trust Bitcoin? Until then, stay curious and stay grounded. I want to be extremely upfront that I try my best to leave all of my opinions out of this. I know this is very condensed and simplified, but I want you to gain your own understanding and beliefs and not be persuaded by me. I hope this helped you gain a better grasp of it. Please remember to share, follow, and subscribe to our mailing list and to your favorite podcast app for future episodes so you can gain more with your crypto knowledge. If this sparked something in you or made you question what's possible, I'd love to hear about it. And if you found this valuable, share it, tag someone who needs to hear it, or just sit with it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Crypto 101 Show. If you would like to join our email list, email us at thecrypto101show@gmail.com. For more helpful tips, subscribe in your favorite podcast app and leave a review so that you don't miss our next episode. See you next time.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.